The Crew Motorfest is a game that decided that cars just weren't cheap, and decided to bring in my local biker game, Bobby Kotick and his many yachts, and even my ticket out of here just to make it more interesting than my love life. And afterwards, the devs proceeded to throw it together into some kind of diabolical soup. In doing so, Ubisoft then threw that diabolical soup onto the populace of Hawaii, alongside some fan-favorite content creators, including James Pumphrey, a blonde chick, and those people. Ubisoft also provided an AI assistant that continues to prove that we should have submitted to our AI overlords years ago. Either that, or the ugly bastards that Giga talks about. During this exciting journey through the lands of the isolated state, we followed the legendary video game protagonist named John Motorfest on his quest to become one of the drivers of all time by racing in several different playlists, each with their own unique flavor of racing, automotive culture, and questionable dialogue. In doing so, John Motorfest will drive many cars, such as VTEC Kicked In Yo, Are You Porsche? Yes. Is that a Supra? Brap Brap Brap, a literal microwave, the Gotta Go Fast Mobile, and much more. This is a game that I originally planned on making a video on when it released in September last year, but with some, let's put it as, hardware complications, I chose to hold it off until now. You know, when I can actually crank the settings, use a fourth of my VRAM, and actually experience what gaming is all about, blowing my eyes out with 120 FPS visuals. So it's time to pack your bags and hit the beaches of Hawaii. Just don't hit any cute girls with your car. As it's time to take a trip to what I think is one of the best racers to release in quite some time. And while it might have a few key differences between it and other racing franchises, that doesn't excuse the fact that this game shares some similarities to games like Need for Speed and Forza Horizon, which I suppose is a good thing, because being original in this day and age is a bad thing. This is the Crew Motorfest. Welcome back to the racing genre. It's been a hot minute since I last visited here. Oh yeah, it's been 6 months. Yeah, sorry about that. Look, I got carried away with games like Atomic Heart and Dead Space and Fortnite, okay? Cut me some slack. We have a lot to talk about regarding this game, mostly because this game has a lot of stuff in it that Ubisoft wanted me to see. But then again, Ubisoft always tries to get us to see what they're doing, which is why that deleting your games after 6 months scandal happened some time ago. I'm gonna tackle this much like I did Need for Speed Unbound 6 months ago, going over the gameplay and the world, as well as the good and bad of the Crew Motorfest. And with a rather large amount of things to talk about in regards to the gameplay of this game, it feels appropriate that we start there. Wait a minute, why do I hear dank music rolling in? The Crew Motorfest has quite a large amount of gameplay elements littered throughout its 40GB install size.
Serious?
Yes, this game is actually small, unlike literally any other racing game that doesn't bother to show its true gigabyte colors. So I'm going to start with the important stuff first, and let's start with the races, as there's quite a few of these that you're going to be finding across Hawaii. Scattered across Hawaii are 15 total playlists for you to choose from, each with their own unique races with cars and challenges that are themed around different automotive cultures. Whether this be off-roading, boat racing, JDM Legends, electric cars, vintage cars, hell, even Formula 1 and plane racing. The Crew franchise has been well known to mesh loads of different cars and cultures into one package, which explains why we're seeing the entirety of Blizzard's extra funds thanks to the wide range of automobiles in this game. Some playlists have unique challenges, like say Outrun the Clock, which will have you outrunning a clock. Exciting, I know. Maybe try out Donut Media's playlist, in which you have to race both high car and low car and beat your time versus the other. Otherwise, you'll get sent to the Shadowlands, and no one wants that. Or maybe try the Vintage Racing playlist, in which you must follow pictures ripped straight from the 80s to reach your destination. Don't ask what camera was used to take these. You'll find yourself listening to a story that took 3 hours to finish. The Hoonigan playlist is also dope too, requiring you to drift, rail grind, and take to the skies in true Michael Bay fashion to rack up points, and impress that one guy that isn't Ken Block, because we lost the legend and now we have to deal with this generic white guy instead. Wow, I just described myself. Some playlists will also have some requirements that need to be met before starting them, which usually just means that you have to purchase a car first. This does seem a little unnecessary, given that you end up loaning cars for about 80% of the game, but hey, you can blame Ubisoft for that, and not me. In addition to races, you'll unlock feats and photo ops upon starting any playlist. You can think of feats kind of like PR stunts from Forza Horizon, as they are mini challenges scattered around Hawaii for you to conquer. This includes slaloms, in which you will have to recreate that one driving test that can cause you to flip over, so I hope you know your car really well, otherwise you're going to be on the next episode of Wham Bam Dash Cam. Speed traps are around as well, just to make sure that you can get arrested for going 200 miles per hour down the main streets of Honolulu whilst blasting Eurobeat from the radio. Escapes are also here too, requiring you to escape a red circle that will chase you until the end of time. I'm not really sure what I did to this circle to make him pissed off, but hey, maybe stealing his girl wasn't the right move at all. There's also bullseyes, which will require you to drive into a green circle to earn points. It's not super crazy, but I will give it credit that most of these bullseye challenges are on twisty roads, making it a real challenge to overcome. Admittedly, I do feel like I'm playing and watching Initial D, but if I was Takumi and failing massively whilst doing these challenges. Photo ops are also unlocked upon starting any playlist. These are areas in which you'll need to take a picture with either a car or a certain location. Doing these feats and photo ops will earn you credits and XP, and on occasion, vehicle parts. Unlike games like Forza or Need for Speed, you can't necessarily buy performance parts for your cars. Instead, you must earn these performance parts through races, completing feats and photo ops, and as we'll touch on later, getting treasures and much more. These parts can range from common to legendary quality, with a PI system associated with them that helps determine what PI your car is. It doesn't really matter how you upgrade your cars though, as many of the cars you'll end up racing with will be loaned by the Motorfest and not actually be your real car. Yes, this does break immersion to some extent, but this is a question for Ubisoft to answer and not me. All of these things can be found with the help of Kara, your AI navigation assistant that also likes to talk a little too much. I feel like I'm dating a Karen by listening to this chick and I want to die. It's also proving that AI is becoming part of gaming, so run while you still can. Moving into customization, it's clear that the Crew Motorfest has a far better suite of customization options for cars than Forza Horizon does. Dare I say, it's on par, if not better, than Need for Speed in some cases. You can even customize your character too, so if you always wanted to look like some rich bumhole driving down the streets of Honolulu in his Ferrari SF90, then this is the game for you. On a smaller note, you do have nitrous in this game, so I hope you like sailing into a wall at Mach 5 speed without thinking that your life may or may not be in danger, because you get to relive it in this game. Of course, we have online multiplayer, allowing players to race with each other in playlist races, and with up to 28 to 32 players, you can participate in the Demolition Royale or a Grand Race. The Demo Royale is basically this game's version of if Call of Duty Warzone and Fortnite decided to have schmecks. The aim of this game mode is to destroy the other crews by smashing into them, and to be the last crew standing by the end of the game. You have the ability to receive drops throughout the match, giving you health and shields to help you out. And you even have an ultimate move to allow your car to turn into a monster truck and, quite literally, smash your rivals. And the Grand Race is a randomly generated race that will occur periodically, and you and up to 28 other drivers can race together in this mode, and earn similar rewards to that of a single-player playlist race. Overall, the gameplay of the Crew Motorfest feels very similar to that of Forza Horizon. You can do single-player races, or take part in feats, aka PR stunts, and if you're bored of that, then go explore the map for collectibles and treasure. We'll touch on them in a few minutes. Upgrade your car with the parts you've collected, or hop online to play the Demolition Royale, or take part in a grand race. The game gives you the freedom to do what you want in any way you want. Very few racing games are delivering this nowadays, as some still have a sense of linearity to them, whether this be in the way of race types, map regions, customization lockouts, etc. The Crew Motorfest doesn't feel like it's linear in the slightest, and it's why I love its gameplay loop. But now, however, I think it's time we move to the next major segment of the video. Actually, no. I want to do one thing before we transition. I haven't done this in forever, and I feel that it needs to be done. So, hit it, DJ.
Well, shit. What the fuck? There was a time in my life when I might have given up. It's all behind me now. Someone matter what! That's why I have to tell you this! Gay! Give me a second. That's all!
Okay, Eurobeat segment over, let's now transition into the next segment. Every racing game needs a world for you to drive in, and the Crew Motorfest delivers a world that is, honestly, really good. So grab a seat, because it's time to take a trip to the beautiful island of Oahu, Hawaii. I just hope that the Hawaiian government figured out what was going on in Maui over there with their fire problem, because I'd rather not have it spread over to my current location. It's no surprise that a game like the Crew Motorfest is going to have a world that hits the mark by sending you to heaven due to its sheer beauty and size, which, let's be fair, it's the same thing that I think of when looking at most women. I guess I'm trying to say that Hawaii looks so good that I'd date it? What am I even saying anymore? The island of Oahu is pretty well drawn out here, to near perfection. Are you sure? This isn't the first time we've seen Oahu in a racing game though, as Test Drive Unlimited was the first to feature Hawaii back in 2006, and its representation of the island was far bigger than what we see today. But even so, I do think that Ubisoft did a great job with this map, making it feel, for me at least, almost like a Hawaiian version of Horizon Colorado. There are multiple different towns scattered throughout the map, some of which including Waianae, the volcanic region of the map that will test if your tires are ready for some sticky fluids. No, that's not what I was thinking, get your dirty minds out of here. There's also a volcano here, no duh genius, which will test if you are willing to drive on some lava, but then again, this is a racing game and to be realistic, lava cannot be present, otherwise you couldn't drive, which is, you know, the important part. You could also head towards the North Shore and enter Wahiawa, the most central town on the island, mostly because it's centered between two large mountain ranges. So I hope you like the view of mountains, because that's what you're going to be living with. Boy, does that sound familiar. Yes, there's some towns and places that I'm not going to mention in this video, and that's mostly because they suck. Deal with it, Hawaii. And lastly, we cannot forget about Honolulu on the South Shore, with the Motorfest Festival sitting to the east in the mountains. I think Ubisoft really nailed Honolulu to a T, and I love spending my time here. Now, that might be because I know that I'm going to find some cute girls here that might actually want to talk to me whilst driving my 2006 Honda Civic, but hey, let's not focus on that. Speaking on the world a bit further, there are a few things to find and discover around Hawaii. The most notable things are treasures and collectibles. Every playlist has its fair share of one or several different types of collectibles, which are scattered all across the map. Most of these are items or spray paintings outside buildings that you can drive up to and hold down the A button to collect. There's quite a few of these, and they are marked on your minimap as small yellow icons. But bear in mind, you will not see these markers on the main map screen, so please bear that in mind for when you're out hunting. Treasures, on the other hand, are a little bit different. A beeping noise will play when you're near a treasure, and your minimap will have a pulsating bubble around it, which will get rapidly more intense the closer you get to this treasure. This sounds like someone busted out a metal detector, and now I'm scared. These treasures, much like vehicle parts, range from common to epic quality, and can be pretty tough to find. This is another way to get new vehicle parts for your cars, as well as credits and XP to level up. These treasures are not marked on the map upon finding them in any way, shape, or form, so make sure you collect them for when you find one. You'll also notice a lot, and I mean a lot, of ghost drivers driving all around Hawaii in their own cars. These are simply just AI drivers that the game has on by default. Now, yes, there has been a number of complaints of people wanting to turn this feature off with there not being a way to do so. But in my opinion, I actually like this feature a lot. It makes the world of the Crew Motorfest feel alive, full of other racers that are either racing each other, heading to a race event with their group, or cruising the coast together. I'll touch on this point a little bit later in this video, but I think it's a great feature that adds depth and character to both the gameplay and the world. The roads that you'll come across are also really good too. There's a good mix of straight line roads for top speed runs, but also twisty mountain roads to go drifting on with your buddies. There's some pretty cool meeting spots too, like the Hanauma racetrack, allowing you and your friends to have a genuine racing event on an actual race circuit with multiple different track layouts. How about the Honolulu airport? Perfect for some drag racing or some sweet takeoffs in your plane. Or maybe try the beach to stare at the sunset in your car without a woman by your side. Am I saying too much stuff related to this women topic? Yes. Should you care? I don't know. You tell me. Altogether, I really do like the world that Ubisoft put together for the Crew Motorfest. I think Hawaii was a great choice for this game after the first two were both set in, you know, the entire continental United States of socialism. I love the detail that Hawaii has, as it feels like the developers took their sweet time cramming as many details into this game as they could. It's a world that I would love to continue to visit time and time again for its awesome driving roads, amazing locations, beautiful scenery, and cozy vibes. But with that being said, we need to get into the last major segment of the video. This is usually the part where I get a bit controversial, so let's see if that happens again. In this case, let me tell you about the good and bad of the Crew Motorfest. There isn't exactly too much to talk about when it comes to the pros and cons of this game, but that doesn't mean that the Crew Motorfest has its fair share of issues, mostly because this is a Ubisoft product, and Ubisoft on its own is an issue. I want to start by talking about the AI drivers that I mentioned from a few minutes ago. Yes, they are real AIs that drive around the world, and they cannot be turned off in any way. The biggest complaint that I'm seeing with the AI is that people are having a hard time discerning if these cars are actual objects, or if they have collision physics implemented similar to a random Honda traffic car. Because of this, players are unaware if they should brake and avoid the AI or just go straight through them. Now look, I can see where these people are coming from. Most racing games give the AI proper collisions, regardless if it's an AI traffic or AI race car. Most people who play this game probably have also played Need for Speed or Forza, where other racers can hit you and you can send other cars into a cliff. And while yes, this can be a bit strange at first, I'm now going to flame all of those people really quick. I have no issue with this feature, because why would anyone belonging to the Hawaiian civilian traffic be driving any car that the player or racer AI can be driving? I think it's pretty easy to comprehend that that's a 911 Turbo, therefore it's a ghost AI, so I can drive through them no problem. But then in other times, I think that's a Ford Explorer, therefore it is a real AI, so go around them. It's not that hard to tell the difference in my opinion. So while this feature isn't necessarily a bad thing in my view, it is a bad thing in the community's POV. Next, I want to talk about the races that players can complete. The races themselves are pretty good, with a surprising amount of variety, challenge, and visual appeal. What I don't like about them is their length. There has been several instances, like at least 20 plus, where I wanted to be done with the race, and I still had to keep going for anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. The realization that a good chunk of these races range in the 4 to 7 minute range doesn't feel great. It feels as though Ubisoft dragged out these races knowing that the game wasn't going to hold player attention that well, and if that was the case, then that goes to show that Ubisoft didn't have much faith in this game. And while I don't think that this was their main reason, I still would have liked for races to have been slightly shorter. I don't want to drive a slow AF car for 8 minutes and then have to live with the fact that I could have spent those 8 minutes doing literally anything else. Some other smaller notes that I want to touch on are the fact that treasures aren't marked on your map, regardless if you've collected them or not. Collectible items and spray paints are only visible on the minimap and not on the main map. The fact that you cannot unlock any form of fast traveling anywhere on the map until you've completed 10 playlists is a bit gay. The drifting physics are a little bit strange, but it's something that I'm not going to complain about too much, and the in-game dialogue is, rather strange. Now, I'm not saying that the actors did a bad job, but what I am saying is they kind of made this game feel like I was watching a YouTube video. Overall, though, this game has a lot of good things going for it. There's just some surprising cons to it that I wasn't expecting. Personally, I didn't have an issue with the game that made me want to quit playing, which I suppose is a good thing. Although, I didn't get a girl in Honolulu like I was wanting to, so this game sucks now. So, what are my final thoughts on the Crew Motorfest? Personally, I really like this game a lot more than I initially anticipated. And the best way that I can describe it is with this sentence. The Crew Motorfest isn't Forza Horizon, but it's pretty damn close. Its gameplay is rather simple, yet it still provides a similar experience to the Forza Horizon series, which is a good thing, because Forza Horizon is the main racer that I play and recognize, so if this game can get close to that mark, then that's a good thing. Its car selection is vast, full of unique cars to drive, fly, or sail with, and with the amount of customization at your disposal, there's plenty of room for creativity in whatever you drive. The added elements of feats make for something to do in your downtime between races, allowing for a challenge for the player to overcome, whilst keeping those challenges simple to understand. The races make me feel like I've been transported back to 2012's Horizon Colorado, with so many banners, balloons, and other decorations that make these tracks truly come alive. It really does make me feel like I'm at the Motorfest festival, and I firmly believe Ubisoft crushed it with capturing that feeling. The world is, quite frankly, incredible. Like I said earlier, Ubisoft nailed Hawaii's Oahu Island for me. I love all of the little details that can be found across the map. I love the roads that I can drive on, whether that be drifting down the twisting mountain roads, cruising the coastal roads to admire the sunsets, or ripping it down the streets of Honolulu whilst banging off the rev limiter. The world feels alive with AI drivers racing down the streets, with most of them either driving and racing together or going to events. It's one of the most alive worlds that I've seen in a long time in gaming, and it's incredible to see it. And while yes, this game isn't on Game Pass or EA Play, and you instead have to fork $15 to Ubisoft to play it, I'm still gonna urge you to play it regardless. This is a game that all racing lovers need to try. If someone like me, who only sticks to Forza and rarely jumps games, and has never played a game in this franchise, and I'm telling you to play it, then that means that I'm telling you that it's worth it. So, give this game a shot. I assure you that you will not regret it, as this is probably one of my new favorite games, and I plan to continue playing it in my free time. Regardless, I'm gonna head out because I gotta film a video that has nothing to do with the racing franchise. My name is PandaPowerSauce, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.